All right, I've been waiting 7 years for this day. We're less than 1% away from Bitcoin hitting the major psychological level of $100,000. Can you believe it? The time has come, and we may even be able to witness this live on the show. What a historic moment that will be. But the crazy thing is we're starting to see signs already of crypto insiders and those in the know-how starting to rotate out of Bitcoin and into the next impending altcoin pump. So we're going to talk about that on today's show. We're going to have a look at, is this in terms of technicals a smart decision to be making, what you should be doing next. Smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get straight into the show content. We have so much to discuss. Banter bubbles, everything's looking really good over here. Most of the coins are up, of course, on the daily, weekly, also looking good. And that's despite the sentiment that we had just a couple of days ago, where a lot of the market was feeling pretty bearish, right? Especially because their altcoin positions were so heavily down. This is the liquidity void, right? This is the part of the cycle where Bitcoin sucks all that liquidity out of the altcoin sector, and then later on throws it straight back, but into the altcoin sector where you get those giga pumps. So everything prepping up and lining up almost to perfection over here. If you have a look at this, coming into that 1.618 fib extension, which is a very key critical level, that will be at $102,087, right? $102,087 is going to be the level to watch for. And the question still remains, is Bitcoin going to completely overshoot this level? It is a critical point. It's a big psychological number, and there is a lot of sideline money and a lot of people that are continuously trying to short the market. So we'll keep our eye on the price over here as Bitcoin pushes $99,200 and almost $10. I really hope to see the 100K mark hit live on the show. What a historic moment that will be. And the reason that we can see a lot of people try and keep shorting the market is the liquidity keeps building up over here. Now, this may just be hedge shorters going short just below that $100,000 mark, thinking that, we're going to turn just before that major psychological level. But the reality is this adds additional liquidity, which is why I probably side on the chances being much higher that you're going to overshoot $100,000 as opposed to turning just before there. So do keep an eye out on that. It is looking really good. And we can actually look to the data over here, and you can see that over the last 24 hours, the majority of the liquidations that took place actually did come from short traders, believe it or not. So there is a bit of a perpetual bid over here, getting price moving onwards and upwards, and it is looking good. Right now, most of the market is balanced over here with more or less a 50-50 on the short and the long side. If this were heavily skewed with about 52-53% on the long side, while it was 48% on the short side, and we're coming into those key levels, that's probably where I would start to say, okay, this is going to maybe be a little bit of a shakeout period over here, and you should see prices come down. But it's not the case, right? We have a lot of stability within the market. Everything is looking good. And I will remind you, we're breaking out of a high time frame range. That's an 8-month trading range. And we can look to what happened the last time that we did that. Well, I haven't gone through all the history, but it lines up pretty similarly with what we looked at over here with all these stochastic RSIs. And every time they cross above that 80 mark and we start to see bulls take major control and lead price into the trending moves, we've noticed that every time that happens, we get trend continuation for at least a couple of months, right? So what we can do is we can have a look over here within this cycle. We had this consolidation period, and I'll highlight the box area over here so you can see a clear range that formed over there for Bitcoin between the months of February all the way into the breakout level, which was in October. That was a very long-term range, right? It lasted for 32 bars. So we had a 32-bar range over there, and following the breakout of that range, so when you started to leave the top side, you went on to rally for 140 days or 20 bars. This is a weekly time frame. So that's more or less about 4 months, 4, 8, 12, 16, 4 to 5 months of continuation of that trend towards the upside. Yes, there were pauses in between, but ultimately you continued onwards and upwards for about 5 months, right? You look at the next range period that we had, it looks very similar over here. And you can see the stochastic RSI was doing the same thing, right? You formed an 8-month trading range over there. You broke out of that trading range most recently. And currently, according to this, we are only on the third week of this trending move following the breakout of the trading range. And this could possibly go on all the way into the end of March. What's interesting about that, if this does play out into March, well, we can actually look at the historical Bitcoin returns and look to the month just before March, right, which is February. And the reason being is because we're expecting a possible topping scenario, or at least weakness of this trend towards the end of the March period. And then it may become a sell in May and go away scenario where we get a second correction, a major correction within the cycle, reaccumulate, and then lead up to finish off the cycle. So if we consider at least these speculative analysis and we look to the data, this is what it says, right? So the month that we want to compare to is going to be 2013, because this is the peak of the bull run, right? 2013, the halving cycle, 2012, and then post-halving cycle, you expect price should do something similar. So if we look to February, you can see the result was 61.77% upside. We go to the next time period, which was where the market topped in 2017. So if we look to that February 2017, 23% gains for Bitcoin. And then if we go to the next one, which was 2021, so after the halving cycle leading into the final year of the bull run, well, we had 36% gains. This could be something similar, right? So if we do see that trend continuation, expect that we could rally all the way into Q1 of next year and then possibly put in a local top, because if you look at these data points once again, well, you'll notice that a lot of the Marches were actually red, which lines up exactly with what we're looking at over there. So also, if you take a look at this over here, which was the return on investment of those specific years leading into the end of the year, so the post-halving year, which was 2012, 2016, 2020, and of course this year being 2024. If I flash that on and off the screen, you can see that is the trajectory that we're following right now, which is pretty much exactly like the prior ones, which means you would expect that the breakout of this long-term 8-month range should lead to continuation at least into the end of the year. And then if you do start to pause at that point in time or have a slight pullback, that's probably where your altcoin sector really starts to run. And that's where the question comes in mind. Is it time to rotate, right? Is it time to start moving in and out of coins, moving from Bitcoin and other large caps into possibly lower caps? We're going to have a look at that today. Another major important sign that we're seeing over here, this is absolutely huge. It is the breakdown of the USDT dominance chart over here. We officially got that candle marking towards the downside. I told you this was the most probable outcome, especially the longer that we remain sideways in this range over here, the higher the chances are that you're going to start to break down. And that's exactly what's happening, right? If you invert this chart and looked at this as a bullish chart, which we can do that, we can invert this chart over here. Let's just quickly see, where is the invert scale? There we go. If you looked at this as a bullish chart, you know, this would start to look like a major breakout, right? Turn it around. I know most of you think in bullish terms. There it is. You had a long-term downtrend. Price started to reaccumulate, essentially forming what actually looks like a cup and handle formation with a skewed neckline over there. You start to break out of that. This is essentially completing the handle. And I guess, I mean, imagine how bullish that would get if you actually started to break above this horizontal over here and get above this region. That's going to be absolutely huge. But I also find that a little bit scary. Maybe something bad would have to happen to USDT for the dominance to drop that significantly. So all in all, this is looking really good over here for continuation. Let's go back on the normal chart. It is currently in free fall, and this will bring a lot of new money into the crypto market. So a 10% drop on this, could easily push some of the altcoins up, double to triple digit gains, right? Just that small drop over there. So observe and watch this as it falls potentially 10 to 20% more before finding major support. We're witnessing Bitcoin dominance as well, finding resistance over here in the exact area that we outlined, that being the order block that led to the breakdown. We're looking for weakness in the zone. Continue to monitor this very carefully. And all you have to do is really ask yourself, 6 months from now, if you are a swing trader or an investor, the question is 6 months from now, where is Bitcoin dominance trading, right? Is Bitcoin dominance trading somewhere down here or somewhere up here? And if your answer is a resounding somewhere down here, well, it's probably time to start to look to potentially rotate from Bitcoin into the altcoin sector. And I know it feels scary right now to do something like that. I know many people think, well, if Bitcoin just sneezes over here, alts are going to get annihilated. Although that is true, the next dip that you see in the Bitcoin USD pairing, which flushes the altcoins, probably becomes the final buy the dip opportunity for the altcoin sector, at which point you see the breakdown of the Bitcoin dominance and everything else pumping. But I'm not really holding my breath on that major correction within the altcoin sector just yet. And part of the reason being is going to be because of this chart. This chart is starting to break down. Of course, if you suddenly spike back up over here, that could potentially change the entire picture. So that's what we're looking at. The other thing that we need to focus on, which we did briefly cover yesterday, was the fear and greed. When it reaches into that 90 zone, which is currently what we're seeing, this is where your parabolic advancements tend to take place. Now, the question is, how much longer is it going to be before something like that happens? And the other thing that you need to be cognizant or aware of is when we do typically see this extreme greed in Bitcoin usually is met with a massive inflow of money into the altcoin sector, and that traditionally has kicked off the altcoin season. And the reason for it is very, very simple. Most people are intelligent enough to know that by the time you're putting in the extreme greed on Bitcoin over here, your upside becomes limited to somewhere possibly in the region of about 100% return. And we know the degens in the altcoin space are not looking for 100% returns, but instead they're looking for outsized returns that could be anywhere between 5 and 50x returns, right? They're looking for huge gains. And even the Bitcoin maximalists know that eventually when BTC dominance tops, most of the time their coin is only going to go up between 50 and 100%, and consequently they're going to want to rotate. So now could be the time to start to look for that. We're seeing, true capitulation from the ETH BTC chart over here, but when there's such extreme fear like there has been, this is usually the time where you want to focus, pay attention, and consider maybe even scaling into new positions or rotating out of Bitcoin into other things that have better opportunities. So again, when you look at a chart like this, of course, it's still a downtrend. It's still a powerful downtrend, that is. And if you are somebody that's very conservative out there and you want full confirmations of a reversal, what you're going to be looking for is a break above this yellow line. That's really been the level to beat for quite some time. You need to see ETH BTC break above 0.040, right? So if you can see something like that, spike up above this level, probably comes back down, starts to form a little bit of a higher low, and then later on in next year, probably somewhere around Q2, Q3, and maybe even into Q4, you should see the ETH BTC chart rallying aggressively towards the upside, and that's going to cause the massive pump in the altcoin sector that we're looking for. So I think it's time to think ahead. It's time to start to look towards what are going to be the best positions to get into. We can discuss that on today's show. You can also let me know in the comment section. I am monitoring the chat over here on my right-hand side. So drop which coins you're looking at for massive returns in the next phase of the bull run, and I will possibly bring those up, right? Another thing that we're looking at is also when is close enough, right? If you look at the others against BTC chart, and this is a very, very objective measure to just determine are altcoins going to bounce against Bitcoin or not? And according to this chart, anywhere between now and the next 20% downside on this chart, you should see the transition from Bitcoin into altcoins. Now, you guys will know I always try and prepare you well ahead of time. I'm not really one of those people that will come and tell you on the day, okay, it's happening, because I understand your psychology can't adapt quick enough to that, and that means you're not going to be wealthy. My goal over here is to help to create one of the wealthiest communities in the world, and that is why I warn you well ahead of time. So I'm letting you know ahead of time that ultimately we're expecting in the next couple of weeks, possibly even days, to hit the bottom of this trend line over here. And you never know, that level could get front run. It's never a guarantee that you're going to actually hit that level. If things do start to reverse from here, you're going to look at massive continuation within the altcoin sector and a big deviation and bounce. And I do want to also remind you that if you look to the prior parts of the cycle, this is how quickly the risk returns into the market, right? So if you have a look over here, let's just grab our ruler. How quickly does risk come back into the market? So altcoins rally absolutely insanely for one full year. This is what everybody comes to know as the bull market. for one entire year. They bottom out and pretty much give you hardly any opportunity to get in if you're not already in your positions, and it just goes absolutely crazy. So again, looking at this one over here, also almost 1 year, 371 days over there. So what would that look like? Let's assume that we hit it any time around here and we measure forward to around that 370 mark. That lines up to November 2025. Now, isn't that interesting? If you go back and you watch yesterday's show, we spoke a lot about the timing cycles and the case for why October is a very, very specific time period where we could see a major top within the markets. And the market typically tops on extreme greed, and real extreme greed typically occurs in the altcoin sector. It's where people are selling their homes for meme coins, right? We haven't quite got to that point yet, although there has been some phenomenal meme coin gains. We haven't quite yet got to that exact point in time. So we're pretty early. Why are we early? Well, you can actually have a look over here at this tweet from Murad. He says, we're still early. Blue was the last cycle coin's all-time high valuations, and green is this cycle's coin valuation. He says 2025 will be the year of the meme coin. So there's the valuations on things like XRP, Cardano, Doge, Link, AXS, and Shiba Inu. And now you have some of the top, at least, meme coins that have outperformed the majority of the crypto market for this entire cycle. And look at how, theoretically, when you compare to the blue over here, how undervalued this cycle's coins are in terms of fully diluted valuation. Very low. Huge opportunities. Many of you are going to change your lives. Many of you are really going to make life-changing money. It's just a question of whether you're going to keep that money, right? So keep your wits about you. I have one thing that may signal the top. I'm going to show you in terms of a bill that may be ruled in, which could be the thing that breaks the camel's back, right? So have a look at that. Now, you got big investors, right? Raoul Pal, we know, coming from an institutional space, moving into crypto, one of the biggest, at least, influences in this space at the moment, coming out saying he thinks that the next great banana rotation is going to be Sui and Doge, right? So I heard he actually considered moving out of his Solana position, and he was one of the people rightfully who called Solana pretty early, rotating out of ETH from the last cycle into Solana. Great move. Now there's talks of a possible rotation into Sui. Is Sui the Sol killer? That is the question. Is it 10x better than Sol? I'll tell you the simple answer, absolutely not. But could there be a bit of a narrative over there? Could there be an opportunity for Sui to play catch up? There is a possibility. We'll have a look at the Sui chart. Although we have been long on Sui for a very long time, it's just a question of, are we going to upscale that position? Well, if you go into the whale room, our traders over there have been absolutely crushing it. The wealthiest traders in the world. Have a look at this, catching the Pico bottom from Farouk, one of our coaches there. Look at that, absolutely insane trade over there. Beautiful. So that's a Sui limit order filled over there on leverage, 122% up already, front running the big guys, right? Front running those institutional investors. So it's time to talk about, should we be doing the rotation? Currently, this is what my portfolio looks like in terms of the first page, with the at least the highest percentage splits. I've got the majority of my capital still in Solana and BTC. Well, this was updated a couple of days ago, so it looks a little bit different. I'll do a new update in the whale room for you guys later on today. Actually, I think I can bring this up over here. So that was the old split. Here's the new split. This is actually live on my CoinStats account over here. So you can actually have a look over there. You can see Solana 30.24%, BTC 22.56%. And the question is, should I start shaking some of this BTC out into a couple of the other coins to capitalize on that altcoin season? Let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? Should I start selling Solana and BTC and start rotating that into the high risk plays over here where we could get some massive gains? Well, we'll do it in whale room as well. We'll do it in whale room. I'll let each and every single one of you that are members in there know ahead of time. If any of you do want to join, by the way, of course, there is a link in the description below. You can still capitalize on Black Friday, right? Now, the important thing over here is, in order to succeed in these markets, you actually need to be able to monitor your splits. You have to be able to follow along with your portfolio, and you need to constantly check up to see, is your trades, or are your trades in high highs and high lows, and are they outperforming Bitcoin before you start to make that rotation? This is part of the reason why until this point in time I've remained heavy in Bitcoin and Solana, because Bitcoin obviously has outperformed the majority of every other coin that's out there, and Solana has outperformed Bitcoin. So Solana, Bitcoin heavy, but the tides are potentially changing, right? I really, really recommend that each of you have some form of a portfolio tracker so that you can keep track of your things. Now, a lot of the guys in Whale Room were asking me for a long time if I could arrange something special for them on CoinStats, which is the portfolio tracker. Guys, I've managed to get it done. I can help the rest of you out as well beyond just Whale Room. They made a special crypto banter link over here. Guys, this is unbelievable. For literally $2.80, you can get a CoinStats account. So the way that it works is I've basically linked every single wallet that I have. You can see this is my equity curve. I can track everything. I've connected every single wallet, from the smallest wallet to the biggest wallet, every exchange, every DEX, every Solana wallet that I have, or Phantom wallet that I have, every MetaMask wallet that I have. I have probably over 100 wallets connected over here. And it turns out that I actually have much more money than I thought that I had originally. Now, I'm not saying that to be boastful. I'm just saying that one of the number one rules to becoming financially free and successful is to keep track and accountability and know where your money is. If you don't know where your money is, it's going to find a new home, right? If you're not accountable to it and you can't monitor the ebbs and flows and changes to make the right decisions and swaps, you're going to get absolutely rinsed. I really can recommend this tool. They have a 14-day money-back guarantee over here as well. Use the link in the YouTube description below. Sign up over there. There it is, CoinStats. This is the biggest discount you'll probably ever see on CoinStats. They are giving you 80% off, 80% off for Black Friday, right? Absolutely amazing over there. All right, let's get into some of the altcoins. Let's go into the trades. Let's see where there is opportunity as well today. You guys can see I'm currently long on a leverage position still on Render. We're up almost $5,000. It has, of course, come down slightly given this recent dip over here, but I do believe this is reaccumulation that should lead to higher prices, right? So other positions that I have on the table, I'm still building this trade. This is quite a big position still, $54,000. So I'm down 22%. But the plan is to slowly rotate, right? To slowly rotate from the previous dominant positions into the next dominant positions, which I believe these all could be some of those. So these are the WEX trades. I'll keep you guys up to date on them. Let's monitor it as time passes on. If you do sign up to WEX, by the way, as well, guys, you can actually automatically get into Whale School. There's a link in the description below. So Whale School is going to work a little bit differently going forward. This is the last cohort of the year. We're doing an accelerator program, which means you can learn how to trade in 10 days. So we're going to run through this stuff very fast because of the nature and the urgency of the bull run. We want to get you up to scratch as quick as possible. Sign up to WEX. If you want to take these trades with me over there, you'll get a sign-up bonus. They're actually flying the 5 people to the Crypto Banter offices as well in Cape Town, and then you automatically get into Whale School. Okay, now let's talk about some of the risk factors, right? There's always risk factors. One of the risk factors is we are still on a TD sequential 9 count. Now, I actually dropped this yesterday, which we can quickly go to over here just so I can update you. If we go through to the bottom, there it is. I dropped the Pine script over here for those of you who wanted this indicator, the TD sequential 9 count, right? I got a couple of messages. How the hell do you add this thing? What you need to do, I thought, let me just show it live on the show. If you take your cursor to the bottom over here, you'll see it says Pine Editor. Click on the Pine Editor, take what I dropped in the Whale Room over here to get this indicator, copy that whole thing, and then simply paste it in here. I've already pasted mine, so I'm not going to do it again. Once you click paste over there, there should be on the right-hand side here an opportunity where you can click save. Save the indicator, it will add it to your chart, and you'll have it there for life, right? Because this is no longer a free indicator anymore. So there's the script for you. All the Whale Room members, just go get it over there. Now, the 9 top suggests that there's going to be a correction or a pause in the market. How long will the correction last? Well, according to this indicator, it's going to be between 1 and 4 weeks, right? 1 and 4 candles. So it could mean that price just moves sideways like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then continues onwards and upwards. If there is a correction over here, you have major support coming in underneath. You don't want to engulf this candle, right? So that's going to be a key level that you want to watch holding as support. That is just below $90,000. It's going to be this zone in between. So 89,000, let's just give it to you exactly. It's going to be, wait. Let's see. The low of that candle is going to be, where is it there? 89,372. That's the level that you want to watch. 89,372. Signs and symptoms of a cycle top. This is something that you can think about 12 months from now. I found this to be pretty interesting as the market cycle goes up. Bob Coleman posted about this. Really interesting tweet. Bitcoin bros, be very careful what you wish for. At the height of the gold and the silver boom in January 1980, the governor of Alaska introduced a bill to put 15% of their public employees and teachers' pension funds into gold, silver, and platinum. It looks like politicians are at it again, pushing for a Bitcoin strategic reserve after the asset has already had a very magnificent run, right? And that pretty much marked the exact top of the stock market over there. So something to think about. Now, when could this come into play? Well, all faithful ChatGPT gave us a specific deadline. The final passage probably for this Senator Loomis's bill to potentially be passed and actually kick in late December 2025. Guys, is that not unbelievable in terms of the deadlines and the dates and the timing that we've lined up? I showed you in terms of the others BTC chart, how altcoins are most likely to top in November 2025. We've been focusing on the timing factors for well over a year now, with the most likely outcome to be October 2025 as a cycle top. And then you're going to have this bill likely passed somewhere towards the end of 2025. That could be a major sell the news event, right? So keep an eye on that. Just bookmark it. It's nothing specific for right now. I just found it to be very interesting, and I thought, let me share it with you ASAP. For now, Bitcoin looks very strong. Bitcoin is above the pivot level, and we're now almost only 0.5% away from that $100,000 mark. Absolutely incredible, guys. Smash the like button if you have survived this long, right? You made it all the way to nearly the $100,000 mark. I got into crypto in 2017. Bitcoin was trading at about $2,500 to $3,000 when I found it. And honestly, this was a pipe dream. This was a pipe dream. Here we are, almost $100,000. I cannot believe it. We'll keep this close to us on the screen over here. But levels to watch if there is some sort of a major flush in the shorter term, you know, again, lining up with that previous chart that I just showed you, around that $90,000 level is going to be a clear support level. Previous resistance grinded into that, led to the breakout over there, and we got the big move up. We spoke about this. We spoke about grinding into resistance and how this typically leads to big moves, right? I gave the long trade over here in the Whale Room Discord. I gave your stop loss, your take profit, everything. Take profit coming in at 100,684. If you took that trade and you're in Whale Room, absolute massive congratulations to you, because we're about there. We're about there. 0.5% left to go. Price is marching onwards and upwards. I would say if you took this trade, you can take a little bit of profit. You don't need to close the whole position. There might be some small profit taking. You can see the market will get more and more, at least as we approach a psychological level. I think there'll be an increase in volatility, right? Either you're going to see a quick flush down, reaccumulate and continue up, or you're just going to rip straight through. And who knows, maybe it goes quickly to 101, 102, 103. Remember, each move in terms of those levels above 102,000, it's close. It's only 2% away, right? It's really not that far. So although it sounds like a long way, a $2,000 extra move, it's only a 2% move for Bitcoin, and a lot of money is flowing in, right? I'll remind you that the NVIDIA results came out yesterday, and their profitability was something like $36.5 billion profit for that quarter, which is absolutely insane, right? So huge profits. It just means there's a lot of money out there that could still come into the crypto markets and get this market moving, right? Huge opportunities over there. So if you want to join the Whale Room members, guys, remember, we do have the special, right? We have the special over there. Now, let's get into the altcoins. Let's have a look at some of the high time frame charts. Let's have a look at some of your requests, and then we'll determine, is there anything that's worth rotating into, right? Is there anything worth rotating into? So starting off over here with TON, hitting a key level on the 2 weekly scale. This is part of the reason why I have been building a ton position as well. The important thing that we always have to look at as well is how does the chart fare up against Bitcoin, right? So we can use Bitcoin as the standard, and then we can have a look at things like TON, for example, over here, and we'll do it in more detail with the actual trading view chart in a moment. But you can see that for the most part, TON recently has been bleeding against Bitcoin. It is approaching a key horizontal over here, which is going to be major support. That's going to be coming in around that 0.00004 level. So you always want to measure TON against BTC, right? What does the TON BTC chart say? And if it hits this key level, and at the same time, we still have TON hanging around these range lows, that becomes an opportunity to gain an entry, right? That's one of the ways that I tend to think about things when looking at these markets. Here's your 2-week chart on SUI. Look, should you do the at least rotation into SUI now? I don't know. I don't think so. We were already long on SUI ages ago. If we go back over here onto the daily chart, I'll show you where we established our initial position. It was all the way at the bottom over here. We spoke about the falling wedge, broke out, and then we labeled this as a final shakeout, and breaking back into the trading range over there was the long opportunity. So if you're looking at this on a daily, this has had an absolutely monumental pump. It is in price discovery, essentially. You can expect that when there is a rotation into altcoins, that SUI is probably going to be one of the benefactors, right? As one of the stronger coins. So in terms of getting a perfect entry, it's run a lot. Understand, it's run a lot, but I'd probably be looking down to maybe this 320. Currently, I already have it in my portfolio, as I showed you over here. Let's quickly have a look at it. So in terms of my portfolio, SUI currently forms 2.41% of my portfolio. It's just a question of, am I going to upscale that more? Am I going to upscale that more? That is the $1 million question, right? I will update you guys if it does come into the key zone. So Injective, let's have a look. Still, I see this as reaccumulation at the top of a range breakout level around that $5 to $6 zone. I think that NEAR is probably going to pump, right? NEAR should push up from this region. Phantom, what about Phantom over here? Okay, also consolidating. Anything that comes back into the trend line, that becomes your buy zone. We can have a look at some of the other charts over here, because the most important thing to do is to focus on the alt BTC pairs. Now, this will give you an indication if you scan through the majority of the layer ones and a couple of the other bigger coins, and if you can get a sense for they're coming into major support, this should tell you if there is going to be a big rotation or not. So if you look at Chainlink, well, Chainlink's been hammered, right? It lost this range level, breaking out of a key long-term range. It's going to be the same thing as Bitcoin, but now to the downside, right? This means Link is underperforming Bitcoin. So breaks that range, comes down. It means Chainlink against BTC realistically is probably going to hit this low level at 843 or the last 3 digits. Now, if you start to see a DeFi summer coming back, there is talks that DeFi may potentially do well. We know meme coins are where it's at. AI possibly a close second to meme coins. And then in third place, maybe we can talk about a DeFi resurrection. Just watch, set your alerts on Link BTC as it comes into that 843 level as a potential bounce zone. We've spoken a lot about ETH BTC. There it is, hitting the key level. This is really, really the do or die zone where you want to see Ethereum starting to outperform Bitcoin. SUI BTC, if we look at this key chart over here, so lining it up with that daily around that $3 target that we had, in order for this to continue to remain bullish, we want to see this consolidate now at the highs of the range, right? So you need to see it put in a little bit of a consolidation in this region over here. That would be similar to the Wyckoff accumulation schematic, which we've so successfully used as the SOS phase, the sign of strength, breaking out of the top of the trading range, and then you get retail participation, which tends to pump this up. Now, remember, it means if this chart goes up, you're making more money holding SUI than you will by holding Bitcoin, and you're making more Bitcoin as well at the same time. If we look at NEAR, I just showed you the NEAR USD chart coming into a very, very key range low, right? So nearing that all-important bounce area. Aptos, not enough price history, but sitting right at the bottom of the range low. DOT, absolutely terrible. This shows you realistically, DOT is as close to dead as it can possibly become. Can it go down another 90%? Absolutely, it can. No signs of life, and I apologize if I hurt your feelings. Let's have a quick break.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
Okay, moment of silence for .BTC, which is absolutely rinsed. Phantom BTC, this is an interesting one, right? If Phantom is to do well, this is a pretty key level. We're approaching major support on the Phantom BTC chart. When I say major support, it's going to look very, very similar to what I showed you on the others BTC chart, as well as the total 3 BTC chart, which opens up the possibility in a worst case scenario that this could still come down about 20 to 30%, right? So do keep eyes on that. Keep eyes on that. Atom is another one. We're not going to run it all again, but you know it. You know it. You know it.
Brother,
Okay, Atom BTC is rinsed, right? Absolutely rinsed. If you look at Injective BTC, this one's doing okay. You're looking for a at least impulsive move out of this. This is a key zone. You haven't visited this level for months, right? The longer the time frame between hitting a key level, the more that level gets reinforced as a major support zone. It's been almost 1 year, 400 or over 1 year, 434 days before hitting that level. So watch for potential bounce on Injective. So I typically scan through the charts. I look for opportunities like this. Now that we can see Injective BTC is coming into a key level, I would then go to Injective USD and I'll ask myself, hey, what does Injective USD look like? Is it looking like reaccumulation? Has it broken some key levels? Is there a trend reversal over here? And the answer is pretty much yes to all of the above, right? We're putting in that reaccumulation. You've broken the falling wedge formation, which we've so successfully seen happen multiple times. The break of the falling wedge with continued chop tends to lead into that rounded bottom, also known as a cup and handle formation. And that cup and handle formation leads into big breakouts, right? So Injective, I'm currently building long positions on right now. It's one to watch. If the Injective BTC chart bounces off the bottom of the range, you know, that could be one area of interest where maybe, just maybe, you can start to rotate some of your BTC into something like this, right? So this is how I do it. Let's continue. What else do we have? AVAX BTC also approaching key support over here. Very, very important zone. We have Say BTC also coming near key support. We did look for a long trade, I think, on Say BTC at one point. So Say BTC, we said, again, come back down to the bottom of the range here will be an opportunity, but no guarantee that you get it, right? If the way that I view it is this is probably just reaccumulating, coiling up for the next move. So you can watch this over here. You can just see, just chopping about, and then you're looking for the break above 58 and continuation higher. So that is on Say, and that's Say BTC. Even Cardano caught a bounce, right, off the range lows. If Cardano catches a bounce, how much more so should your favorite altcoin catch a bounce? Because you've hit the range low over here, you deviated through just like the price cycles. And this is what I talk about when I say reinforcement of the level, right? Reinforcement of the level occurs over time. This was a very long time. This was 1,393 days, right? 1,393 days. It was almost 100% guaranteed that the first touch of that level was going to elicit a big move. And that's what we've seen. We drew it in. If we drew it in, we called it, right? So that's as easy as that. Again, guys, if you want to learn more about this, what I'm talking about with the reinforcement of levels, etc., all of this is covered in Whale School, right? So there it is. All of it's covered in Whale School. You have 12 days left to join, right? In order to join, you need to sign up to 𝗬𝗥𝗢𝗕𝗓. 𝗬𝗥𝗢𝗓 is your ticket. They're going to pull the user ID to see that you signed up to 𝗬𝗥𝗢𝗓. And the reason that we do this is to fight off these scammers, right? There's constant scammers that are trying to get into the school, and they're usually not willing to go through the lengths of actually verifying a trading account or registering for a trading account. They want the easy in. So this is kind of how we gatekeep it. It's still free. The course is 100% free, even though I feel that I should have charged $5,000 for this. It is free. Go to the link below. You will see over here. Look for 𝗬𝗥𝗢𝗓. Where's 𝗬𝗥𝗢𝗓? Let me just see. Let me refresh over here. Let's quickly refresh. You should see 𝗬𝗥𝗢𝗓 in over here. And where is it? Is it in here? Hardest? Okay, there it is. 𝗬𝗥𝗢𝗓 on the bottom. Go to 𝗬𝗥𝗢𝗓 on the bottom. Sign up over there. Once you've signed up, you can go through to the school page, which is this one. Click on that, and then they're going to ask you for the 𝗬𝗥𝗢𝗓 user ID, and then you're in. Then you're in the school, right? Then you're in crypto school, and you can do the entire course over there. So let's go through a couple more. What else do we have? Let's do a couple of chart requests, right? So we've gone through a bunch. I am going to update you all when I make the switch from Bitcoin and Solana into other coins. Of course, that info will be dropped first in Whale Room because I need to think through and be a little bit more methodical about what that switch is going to look like. I anticipate that it's going to occur with Bitcoin now trading anywhere between about $100,000 and $120,000, give or take. That's most likely where I start to make that transition. Okay, what else? Okay, we got Ondo. Let's have a look at Ondo, some of the real world assets. Let's check it out over there. Okay, Ondo, it's been reaccumulating, trying to get back above the top of the trading range. We actually spoke about this ages ago when you broke this trend line down. When you hit into the top side over here, we actually rotated all of our Ondo into Mantra, and we got an absolutely killer trade because this went down and we saw what Mantra did, right? Mantra just absolutely pumped. I'm still holding all my Mantra. I truly believe this is probably going to be a reaccumulation and Mantra is going to rip. The tokenomics for Mantra is phenomenal. Very, very good tokenomics over there. So that is Mantra. What else? I see some requests over here around Prime and Naka. Let's actually look at those because the gaming sector has been ripped, right? It's been absolutely killed over here. So let's actually see, is there any signs of life? Is there any signs of life in these coins at all? Let's go to Naka. How does Naka look? Okay, Naka, it's not looking good, right? It's still not looking good. It's got a lot of work to do. This was a key level that you wanted to see hold. That was way back. You did lose that level. So you can probably look to the next major support over here. I mean, you definitely don't want to see it come back below there. That's going to be your key zone. Still chopping about. Remember, in trading, there's such a thing as opportunity costs. And I've spoken about this a lot. Even if you manage to buy it down here, your opportunity cost is that, well, you only made 57% and it took 110 days to do that. We've been making that on single leverage trades, right? Again, if you just go through even into Whale Room over here, single trades, catching the Pico bottom, there's the entry, there's the profits, 122%. So there is an opportunity cost when you start to allocate into things that don't have a bid yet. Let's have a look at some of the others in the gaming sector that you guys asked for. Prime was one of them. So Prime was actually one of the stronger looking ones, at least holding this reaccumulation pattern in the form of an ascending triangle, high highs and high lows. It's kind of splitting hairs on something like this that's a little bit illiquid. If you are interested in this coin for the cycle, probably buying it here is not going to hurt. But if you want to get really precise, waiting for it to come down to about $6.90 is going to be the zone. But it's splitting hairs, right? Between $6.90 and $8 on something like this that's a low market cap is probably not going to make too much of a difference, right? Let's see, Ape. Has Ape still started to move? Okay, similar to a lot of the ones that we're looking at, possible cup and handle. Every time I see these falling wedges break out in crypto and then they don't just rip straight away, but instead they stall out like this, it ends up turning into a rounded bottom, which is a perfect cup and handle. You then get one more pullback and then off to the races it goes. So that is Altcoin for you. That's what I'd be looking at over there. All right, what else? XAI. We can go through to the AI sector. Let's have a look over here. XAI. So chopping about XAI. No, not much, right? Maybe it's going to turn into a rounded bottom, but you probably need quite a long-term reaccumulation. Let's just say that this thing starts to look a little bit more promising if it can get above 27 cents. That's the level. Get back above 27 cents, and it's probably going to start to look a little bit better. So AI sector, we obviously long on Render. Let's just see if it's this one over here. Okay. This one, it must be this one over here. All right, so Render, we long on Render, holding above the top side of the trading range over here, reaccumulation. I'm expecting a move up to about 1150 on Render. FET as well, I think this one's going to be one of the top contenders for the cycle. Right now, still chopping about, hanging around here. If you do get that final 20% dip on the others BTC chart, and this comes down into the $1 zone, I think FET is going to be a great opportunity to pick up anywhere around $1. I'm also expecting same thing, rounded bottom, moving up to $2.63. And I think a lot of these coins, you're basically buying it at one of the most bottomed out places that you can. It's just a question of, do we get one more correction now, or do we get one more correction later in the altcoin sector? At which point, if it happens now, yes, you wouldn't be buying the bottom. It's probably going to go lower. If it happens later, buying now means you probably would be getting your entry at the same place as where others might if they're quick enough on the next correction. That's the way I see it. The way I see it is I prefer to establish my positions during periods of low volatility and not high volatility. Low volatility is marked by a tight range where things start to contract into a tight range. That's where I like to establish my positions, right? I don't like to establish my positions, for example, now on something like Bitcoin that has incredibly high volatility and is ripping towards the upside. So you need to pick your battles, right? You need to pick your battles. We are going to go, by the way, onto my Instagram. There's a link in the description below. Go through into the description. We're going to go there straight after the show because I'm going to have to end very, very soon. And we'll continue the conversation over there. So go through to the link below. We'll do an Instagram live there. I'll take your questions. Where is it? Let's just have a look at the bottom. Scroll down. There it is. There it is, where it says host channels. Go through to the bottom over there. Click on the Instagram page over there. Join me. The story is already up. We're going to go live over there because they need to use the channel for other things, right? So we got to go into meetings and stuff in a bit. I'll be there in about 15 minutes. Just mark that off. Okay, let's continue with some of the AI coins. What else do we have? All right, EOS is looking good. One of our AI picks pumping over there. Let's see Octa quickly. Okay, Octa reaccumulating. 𝗬𝗢, we spoke about 𝗬𝗢 getting the long entry over here. I showed also, this is a lesson from Whale School, teaching how to scale into that trade at various different levels with very specific criteria. So looks perfect. We got 2 of the orders already fulfilled over there. You can start to eliminate some of your risk if you did take that trade. I'm looking at a pretty big move over here on 𝗬𝗢. Percentage-wise, that's about 137% upside move. It's holding the mid-range. So anywhere around here, like this trade, it's a free trade for you guys that over there. You're looking to start to establish your long trade. If others starts to bounce, especially against BTC, you're looking at a big move up over here. First to the top side of the trading range, 684. If it breaks and holds above that, the next level that you're going to is 1,134. Speaking of AI, I forgot to mention to you guys, there is an opportunity as well for those of you who want to participate in node sales. Blue Whale have extended their sold out prices to you. So they gave a discounted price. It's sold out. There's a link below that will take you there. You can get in at the old sold out price. It's only limited to a few people. If that does happen to tickle your fancy and you want to participate in the AI nodes with Blue Whale, there's the opportunity for you, right? Okay, let's take a couple more requests. What else? 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓. Yes, I see there is requests around 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓. Let's go into 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓 very, very quickly over here. So 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓, 59% up. Absolutely beautiful. We got in very early on this coin over here. I would love to see this 𝗓𝗢𝗓𝗓-like move. So let's go back onto the daily though. Just let that reset. So far looking good. Decent over here. Reaccumulating. Holding, of course, that key range level over there. Breaking above there. And you just want to see this slowly climb towards the upside. So next major level of interest that this needs to get back above is going to be over there, right? With these types of coins, it's not really something that you're trading based on levels, but it's more based on longer term thinking. If you believe that cats are going to flip dogs late in the cycle, which many of us do believe, we think that, or at least it's going to take some of the market share and close the gap. So let's just say, for argument's sake, the dog meme coins currently hold 50% of the mind share within the meme space, just for argument's sake. Let's say cats hold 3% of the mind share in the meme space. We suspect that the cats are going to take some of that dog mind share and possibly progress from 3% to maybe 10%. And if that happens, by us buying a couple of these top cat coins, we could do very, very well, right? So part of the reason I bought 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓 is because 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓 is Vitalik's cat. Vitalik Buterin is the founder of Ethereum. And when ETH-BTC runs again, Vitalik Buterin is going to be a popular guy. And when he's a popular guy, maybe he'll take a picture with his cat. Maybe he won't. And we think cats will flip dogs. This is essentially the play. So that's how you have to play the meme coins. Of course, another one that I'm looking at, which already the Whale Room members got in, ages ago is Goku. We'll see. I don't know how well it's going to do. I have absolutely no clue over here. But under the anime, at least under the anime sector over here, it did break out today. You got back above that key level 0.0082. I don't know how high it's going to go, guys. I don't know if it's going to be good or not. It's got a nice reaccumulation range. We're simply just going to watch. We're going to watch it. I have exposure. I am a holder of this coin, by the way. We'll keep an eye out on Goku. Okay, let me know. What other ones? WIF. Yeah, let's have a look at WIF. We have to go to WIF. Okay, let's go to WIF over here as one of the key memes. Let's quickly go to WIF. So there it is. Okay, WIF is naturally going to be a higher beta play for Solana. If you think Solana is going to continue to perform well, then buying the blue chip meme coins on Solana is one of the ways to go, right? So looking at this over here, I mean, this is coming into a pretty key significant level. It's hitting the breakout level, the previous range. That's where you expect the next high low to form. Anywhere around here is probably fair game to gain an entry into WIF. I may even consider building a bigger position myself somewhere within this area. Let's get a little bit more precise using our fib level. I mean, almost perfect, right? We put in the local top over there. Let's move the gray circle up. And here's your 50% level. That's the exact level that you want to see hold. The 50% level also happens to be resistance, support that leads to the move up. Maybe one more test of support over here, and that could get it going, right? So I'm keeping an eye out on that. That is with extensions. How far could this go? Let's quickly pull out a fib retracement over here and have a look at the total cycle move. So just quickly giving you some targets. Okay, there we go, fib extensions. So 1.618, I know it sounds crazy, but WIF to $7.24 is very likely. $11 is going to be your 2.618. And then oftentimes in the next parabolic run, a lot of these coins are going to hit the 3.618, which is going to take it just shy of $15. So if WIF does bounce from this zone, you have an enormous trade there, 350%. What would the risk to reward on something like that look like? Well, if you were to be taking that trade, you're looking at this, right? You're looking at this. So there's the risk to reward. That would be the risk to reward. A huge trade, right? 7.8 to 1 risk to reward ratio. Now, you obviously can't go all in on this, or you're going to lose half of your money on that trade, right? That's why join Whale School. I teach everything over there. I teach risk management. I teach how to calculate your position size, how to scale your trades up with leverage to get bigger trades, more profits. Everything is taught in over there. Remember, you'll need to sign up to, of course, 𝗕𝗥𝗢𝗕𝗓 if you do want to participate. We're going to go through onto my Instagram. Make sure you go through there. The link is in the description below. I'll catch you all there. We'll have a little bit of a Q&A session. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. I'll catch you on the next one, and cheers for now.